script. Have you ever wondered how the Israel-Palestine conflict, one of the most enduring and contentious issues of our times, began? Let's delve into this intricate tapestry of history, geography, and culture. Situated at the crossroads of Europe, Africa, and Asia, Israel holds a strategic position like no other. It's nestled at the easternmost tip of the Mediterranean Sea, with Lebanon and Syria to the north, and Jordan and Egypt to the east and south. This geographical location has played a crucial role in shaping the region's history and its ongoing conflicts. Now imagine a diverse tapestry of people living within this strategic land. Israel's population is a vibrant mix of cultures and religions. Around 8.5 million people call this place home. Of these, approximately 75% identify as Jewish, making Israel home to nearly half of the world's Jewish population. Additionally, about 21% are Arabs, while a little over 4% belong to various other religions, including Christianity and the Baha'i faith. The bond between the Jewish people and the land of Israel is profound and spans over 35 centuries. The cultural and theological identity of the Jewish people was primarily shaped here, in this land, more than anywhere else in the world. Despite the majority of Jews being sent into exile about 2,000 years ago, their connection to this land remained unbroken. Their history and presence here have been continuous and uninterrupted. The rebirth of Jewish independence occurred on the same day the State of Israel was founded, which was May 14, 1948. With the foundation of the State of Israel in 1948, the stage was set for a complex and multifaceted conflict. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in a long and intricate history, setting the stage for a series of events that would shape the world as we know it today. Let's turn the pages of history back to the 1st century, when the Romans conquered Jerusalem and destroyed the Holy Temple. The Jewish culture in Israel at this point was already over a millennium old. But with the fall of Jerusalem, the Romans, in an act of imperial dominance, rechristened the region Palestine. Many of the Jewish inhabitants were sent into exile, scattering across the globe. But it's important to note that not all Jews left the region. Some stayed, maintaining a continuous Jewish presence in Palestine. They held on to their faith, their culture, and their connection to the land, even as they lived under the rule of a foreign empire. Over the next 2 millennia, Palestine saw the rise and fall of numerous civilizations. Conquerors came and went, each leaving their own mark on the region, yet none establishing a distinct state or community. It's a tumultuous history, characterized more by transient rule than by lasting establishment. Meanwhile, the Jewish diaspora across the globe held on to their connection to Palestine. No matter where they lived, whether in the bustling cities of Europe or the far reaches of Africa and Asia, the idea of a return to their ancestral homeland was a fundamental part of their identity. It was a source of hope, a dream of a future where they could once again live in the land of their forebears. As we navigate through the annals of time, we can see that the Jewish connection to Palestine was never completely severed. Despite the trials and tribulations, despite the centuries of exile and foreign rule, the bond between the Jewish people and this land remained unbroken. And so, we find that even in the face of the Roman conquest and the renaming of the region, the Jewish story in Palestine didn't end. It simply entered a new chapter, one that would continue to unfold over the coming centuries. Though the land saw the rise and fall of numerous civilizations, the Jewish connection to Palestine remained unbroken. Fast forward to the years 1517 to 1917, when Palestine was an integral part of the Ottoman Empire. This was a time of initial success for the region, but as the empire began to crumble, so too did the fortunes of Palestine. It morphed into a sparsely inhabited, economically depressed, and arid wasteland. The once thriving region, under the weight of the declining Ottoman rule, had lost its former glory. While Palestine was grappling with its own decline, across the continent in Europe, a new movement was taking shape. This was the late 19th century, a time when anti-Semitism was on the rise, and violent acts against Jews were becoming alarmingly commonplace. Amidst these troubling circumstances, the seeds of Zionism were sown. This was more than just a political ideology. It was a dream, a hope for a safe haven for the Jewish people. The Zionists, driven by the desire to return to their ancestral homeland, sought global recognition of their right to establish a sovereign state in the land of Palestine. Their vision was not just to create a new state, but to restore the Jewish people to a state of independence, a state that had been lost for thousands of years. This desire, this yearning for a homeland, was deeply ingrained in the Jewish identity and was a beacon of hope during difficult times. But the Zionist vision was not universally accepted. It was met with resistance and controversy. This dream of a homeland was set against a backdrop of political turmoil and territorial disputes. The stage was set for a conflict that would span over a century, a conflict that still echoes in the world today. The Zionist movement sought to restore Jewish sovereignty in Palestine, a goal that would have far-reaching consequences. With the establishment of Israel in 1948, the conflict took on a new dimension. The displacement of Palestinian Arabs, who had called this land home for centuries, became a significant point of contention. This displacement, often referred to as the Nakba or catastrophe, saw hundreds of thousands of Palestinians leaving their homes, either under duress or in fear of the ongoing conflict. Over the following decades, multiple wars were fought between Israel and its Arab neighbors. These wars, often devastating and costly, further entrenched the divisions and fueled the animosity that had taken root. The Six-Day War in 1967, for example, saw Israel seize control of the West Bank and Gaza Strip, territories that are still disputed today. Numerous peace processes have been attempted, including the Oslo Accords in the 1990s and the Camp David Summit in 2000. However, these initiatives have largely failed to bring about a lasting resolution, often stalling on key issues such as the right of return for Palestinian refugees, the status of Jerusalem, and the borders of a potential Palestinian state. In recent years, the situation has become more complex with the ongoing expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank. These settlements, often built on land considered by many to be part of a future Palestinian state, have been a major roadblock in peace negotiations. The status of Jerusalem, a city sacred to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, has also been a source of friction. The city, claimed by both Israel and the Palestinians as their capital, is home to sites of profound religious significance, including the Western Wall, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And then there are the borders. The lines drawn in 1949, known as the Green Line, have been blurred by wars, settlements, and negotiations. The exact borders of Israel and a potential Palestinian state remain a point of intense debate. Despite the seemingly intractable nature of the conflict, the hope for a peaceful resolution persists. The road ahead is undoubtedly challenging, fraught with historical grievances and contemporary complexities. Yet it is the hope that fuels the pursuit for peace, a hope that one day, the children of Abraham might live side by side in harmony. As we've seen, the Israel-Palestine conflict has deep historical roots and complex contemporary dimensions. Our journey began with the understanding of the significant position Israel holds, a crossroads between Europe, Africa, and Asia. With a diverse population of over 8.5 million people, the nation is the birthplace of Jewish culture and theology, which has spanned a staggering 35 centuries. We then delved into the ancient times, a period marked by the Roman conquest. This was a pivotal moment in history when the Holy Temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, and the Jewish people were conquered. Despite this, the Jewish presence in the region, renamed as Palestine, remained uninterrupted. Our exploration led us to the Ottoman rule, a significant era that lasted 4 centuries. It was a period of initial prosperity, followed by decline, transforming the region into an economically depressed and sparsely inhabited area. In the midst of this, the late 19th century saw the birth of Zionism in Europe, a movement fueled by rising anti-Semitism and nationalism. The Zionist aspiration was to restore the Jewish people to a state of sovereignty in their ancestral homeland, Palestine. Fast forward to modern times, the conflict continues to persist, fueled by territorial disputes, religious differences, and political ideologies. Today, the complexities have escalated, intertwining with international politics and human rights issues. In conclusion, the Israel-Palestine conflict is not just a struggle over land, it's a clash of histories, identities, and narratives deeply rooted in the past. Understanding this history is crucial to comprehending the present and building a better future for all people in the region.